In our diamond and gemstone shape video, I break down each cut very specifically. So if you're looking to get more information on a very specific cut, definitely head over to that video for more details. However, if you really want to get to the bare bones of the difference between the brilliant cut category and the step cut category, we're going to do that today. The round brilliant cut is by far the most popular gemstone cut period, and this particularly really applies to diamonds. And this is because the round brilliant cut really shows off the diamond's best asset apart from its hardness, and that is its brilliance and its fire. You may have heard me use the term fire before, and I really want to break down what this means. It essentially refers to the fact that diamond has a very high refractive index, and this means it can take white light, which passes through the diamond, and break it down into spectral rainbow colors. Those rainbow colors are what we refer to as fire, and that whole process of breaking down the white light is what we call a diamond's dispersion. So the brilliant cut is really designed to really maximize the fire of any stone really that has a high refractive index. So other examples other than diamond could be zircon or even demantoid garnet. And this is why we also see round brilliant cuts used in pave designs, because you're getting a lot of sparkle. The other thing about the brilliant cut is that the proportions are also very important. They've been extremely well designed. Let's say over 500 years, we have perfected this standard brilliant round cut. And again, the proportions really factor in because it affects how the light is passing through the diamond, staying in the diamond, bouncing that light around, and then reflecting it back to your eye so you actually do see that sparkle. And these perfected proportions are also how you get the cut grade for a diamond. So this is calculated between poor and excellent, and it, again, is really for people who are looking for maximum sparkle in a very high quality diamond, let's say. The brilliant cut has 57 facets, and the facets also contribute to the sparkle. They are all triangular or four-sided, let's say kite-shaped facets. And again, they're arranged in a way to help light reflect its best possible qualities. When we look at the evolution of diamond cutting throughout history, it's almost really like we were always evolving to the brilliant cut diamond again. However, arguably we can say one of the very first diamond cuts ever was actually a step cut, and this is a cut that we call a table cut, and it comes after what we call the point cut. And the point cut was essentially just how people were finding diamonds in the rough, which kind of look like two triangles stacked on top of each other. In the mid to late 1400s, this evolved into what we call the table cut, and essentially this just involved cutters kind of shaving off the very point of those diamonds, sometimes on the top and the bottom, and they were really just using diamond dust combined with olive oil. This is because olive oil has a pretty good heat tolerance, and again, they would just grind that off so that you got a flat surface on the top of the stone, which was pretty much the very first table in a gemstone. Fast forward to modern times, and the step cuts that we know now are the emerald cut, the Asscher cut, and the baguette, which is most often used as a side stone or other accent stone. Just like the brilliant cut, the step cut has 57 facets, but instead of being kite or triangular shaped, they are all four-sided, rectangular, very linear facets, and they always run parallel to both the pavilion and the table. So again, it gives it a very architectural, very kind of linear, clean, and sophisticated appearance. It's definitely a more subtle look than the brilliant because you're not getting as much sparkle for sure. It's more of a glassy, kind of transparent, and again, very kind of sleek and modern appearance, even though it does have a bit of a retro appeal. So we kind of associate Ascher's, for example, with the Art Deco period, which is when they really started to come into fashion. But we also think of it as being kind of retro. A lot of famous engagement rings, some of the most elegant and sophisticated rings, those belonging to, say, Elizabeth Taylor and Grace Kelly, they were, as I mentioned, instead of showing off a gemstone sparkle, what you're really showing off with a step cut is the clarity and even the color. And this is why we see it a lot with colored gemstones, especially aquamarines, amethyst, emeralds, sapphires. You're really being able to show off the intensity of color, and that's when you do use the step cut with a diamond, it's very important to have a high clarity diamond. And again, I think this is why a lot of famous engagement rings have been cut as step cuts, because they really want to show off how high quality and expensive the diamond that they have is. because you are getting less sparkle with a step cut. There really are less places for inclusions in a diamond to hide. It really does have that Hall of Mirrors effect, and it can really make a more included diamond look a lot worse. So if the step cut is something that you're really interested in, I would say you want to aim to use diamonds that are graded VS or better, and you definitely want to make sure there are no inclusions under that very top facet, the table of the diamond, because actually with step cuts they tend to have a larger table. So again, this is just going to put the spotlight on anything that is there. So I do have to say that larger carat sizes also do look better with the step cut, because especially with the Asschers versus the emerald can actually make a stone look a little bit bigger because it has that elongated shape. But with the square Asscher and you have a smaller stone with the linear cut, they have those very slim, narrow facets, and those can get a little bit messy looking in a stone that is a bit on the smaller side. I do think that step cuts are amazing for lab diamonds because they tend to have very little inclusions, and of course you can get larger carat sizes at very affordable prices. So this is an amazing way to set your lab diamond apart and make it look a little bit more special and unique. Same goes for moissanites. If you're looking at moissanite engagement rings or other jewelry, I love a step cut for a moissanite because it kind of tones down the sparkle of that stone. Moissanites are doubly refractive, and they are even higher on the refractive index than diamonds, so they tend to have very high wattage sparkle and those rainbow spectral colors, which of course is beautiful, but if you want it to look more like an actual diamond, a step cut can really help tone that down. If you're wondering how all the other popular shapes fit into these categories like oval, marquise, pear, etc., they actually tend to be a mixed cut, so they tend to be combinations of both brilliant and step cuts, either with having brilliant tops or crowns and step cut pavilions, or vice versa. The thing to know about these fancy cuts is that they tend to just be a little less standardized, so you have to be a little bit more careful when you are picking them out. You want to definitely make sure you're looking at the symmetry, the balance of the appearance of the stone, and all the proportions, etc., because again, they are definitely less standardized than regular step cuts or round brilliant cuts. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any more questions, feel free to put them in the comments below, and visit us on Instagram at Winston Gems and Jewelry.